Since the late 2000s, foam rolling has been absolutely a smashing success through the endurance communities. We've also had the stick, lacrosse ball, tennis ball, all these different types of things that we can use to help us be able to get the body to move better. Today we're going to take a look at a med ball. It can also be a soccer ball, it could be a volleyball, a basketball that you use to help you to release or open up the glute med. Now, here's two things for this. The thing that we're after with foam rolling is really not necessarily the muscles, but the fascia. The fascia is pretty much at the cutting edge of research right now for human performance and movement. And we don't know a whole lot, although some of this has been around for literally almost 200 years. One of the challenges we've had in studying the fascia is it relies on the fluids of the body to be able to help it act. There's a so there's tension and integrity, and in order for that to happen there has to be some type of hydraulic pressure. So if we study it in a cadaver, then we've lost a lot of what the fascia actually does. So when we're doing this, keep in mind we're not really looking necessarily just for that muscle to release, but we're trying to get the cross-body sling, the one that comes across the front, down into the hip and into the inner thigh, as well as the one that comes up and across the back. We're trying to get that fascial sling to be able to move better. And this is really important. We talk the last 5, 8, 10 years about the posterior chain for cyclists and triathletes, but there's so much more to it in that we need the energy transfer. This is also why we've talked a lot about upper body strength for cyclists and not just focusing on the legs and core. But let's look at how to actually do this. Now, two things that you should know about the glute actually before we come down here. The glute actually comes all the way up above your belt line. So the crest of the pelvis is where the glute max is. Then underneath that, so if we take the ASIS, we take the thumb on the bone, we wrap our fingers around, right around here is going to be the glute med min complex. The medius is helping us to externally rotate, and then the minimus helps with that, as well as pulling the head of the femur back into the socket. That's where we want to target the medicine ball as we're doing it today. So what we're going to do is we're going to start off with the medicine ball right on the SI joint, essentially, or back on the sacroiliac, that big bone on the base of your bottom. And we're going to come onto the side and we're going to try and find the spot that is tightest. Now, if the ball is not blown up enough, or it's not strong enough, so you can't really use a slam ball, you're not going to find much tenderness in that spot, and that's really important. So when we're using a basketball or a volleyball, we want to make sure it's blown up properly. Ideally, we want to have a medicine ball this size or a little bit bigger. Too big and you lose the apex. There we go. So I found it. Now from here, we have 2 or 3 options. Number one is going to be as I was before, where the leg is straight, and you can even be up on the elbow or up on the hand. If you don't feel that enough, you can come down to the elbow. And then from there, you can even let the leg kind of fall out. And this is going to allow the muscle to relax. There we go, we found the spot. And we're just going to do around 15-20 seconds of going through that muscle, just back and forth. If I really wanted to get into it today, I could go even figure 4. Really, there's no right or wrong position for this. I do not like this one as much because it puts stretch onto the muscle, although some people say they feel it more, which I totally understand. But really what we're looking for is just to get into that spot, get it to release a little bit by moving around. Generally when we're doing the glute med, I don't like people stopping and holding on the spot. We want to try and massage the muscle a little bit, and then we would finish and we would move on to the other side. Now, when you're doing this, especially foam rolling, more is not more. We want just enough. So I like to spend 20 to 40 seconds a spot, maximum 5, 6, 7 minutes in our warm-up, depending on what we're doing that day. So some days I will have people really specifically target the calf, the glute med, and then the lats, and that's it. That's all they do. We're trying to get that cross-body sling to work a little bit better, as well as the lower leg. So if you're gonna add this in 1 or 2 times, 20 to 40 seconds max each side. Again, the approach that we have for today, this is part of a fascial warm-up. We're not trying to release the muscle, we're trying to get you to be able to move the fluid through the fascia and the muscle prepared. I've said that 3 times, so hopefully it's getting a little bit Department of Redundancy department. All right, so use this in your warm-up. You can also use it after the bike, just a little bit. And if you enjoyed this and I say enjoy, it's a little sadistical when you do it right. If you enjoyed this and you found it to be useful, make sure you're subscribing down below, give us a thumbs up, and until next time, remember, train smarter, not harder, because it is all about you.